At first glance, you might write off Splatoon 2 as a kid's game. After all, it features a vibrant color palette, noise pop soundtrack, and stars a gang of rebellious teens. But this is meant to spark a youthful spirit in its players. An infectious, frenetic, optimistic energy courses through every online match, stage, and character. Despite a disappointing single-player campaign and a misguided scheduling system, Splatoon 2 is one of the best multiplayer games of the year. At its core, Splatoon 2 is a third-person shooter. Players can pick from machine guns, shotguns, sniper rifles, as well as close-range weapons such as paint rollers, brushes, and buckets. The difference here is rather than bullets, the squids fire their team's colored ink, allowing them to swim quickly through puddles, regain health and ammunition, or hide for a surprise attack. Once enough ink is dispensed, the squids gain access to temporary super attacks, including bazookas and jetpacks, an exploding ink ball, or an unlimited supply of grenades, with equipable hats, shoes, and jackets boosting swimming speeds, ink retention, and damage received, all of which become enhanced through experience gained. These mechanics feel tailor-made for the brilliantly hyperactive turf war. Here, 2 teams of 4 are tasked with covering the majority of the stage in their ink. With a 3-minute time limit, every match is an immediate rush, painting walls, floors, and fighting back the opposing team, strategizing the most optimal path after a respawn, activating a special attack at just the right time, or seeking out higher ground for a quick recovery. And just as the match reaches a fever pitch, it ends, leaving players to calculate the map overview before a winner is declared. Turf War is one of the most original and exciting multiplayer modes in years, taking the primal joy of making a mess and transforming it into a fast-paced competition. Combat is a factor, especially when the enemy's ink damages your team, but the focus always remains on the goal itself. More impressive is the natural inclusion of teamwork. By creating a swimmable path for yourself, you're aiding your allies' progress as well. Simply put, Turf War is the reason to play Splatoon 2. Following a crushing loss or an electrifying victory, I always found myself ready for one more match. By trimming down the complexity of online play and automatically enforcing cooperation, as well as the inclusion of optional motion controls, Turf War caters to both experienced and new players of online shooters. However, the rest of the team-based styles take a decisively aggressive turn. Once a squid reaches level 10, ranked battle is unlocked, featuring 3 new match types. Splatoon heavily resembles Turf War, though the goal is in holding one particular space of a stage for a set amount of time. Tower Control features a movable platform that edges closer towards its final destination depending on the color ink it's covered in. And Rainmaker centers around a powerful collectible weapon, which once returned to the enemy location, ends the match. Each of these push players into conflict, with the narrow-focused objectives encouraging offensive attacks. And in that regard, it's an interesting diversion, giving the sizable arsenal of weapons greater advantages in each situation. But all of these ranked battles pale in comparison to Turf War, due to their direct and immediate conclusions. Once a team has picked up momentum, it's often difficult to overtake their advantage, resulting in knockout wins and losses or muddy finishes. And finally for multiplayer is the cooperative Salmon Run, where a team of 4 players combat waves of dangerous sea creatures, collecting their eggs along the way to reach a quota before time runs out. Unlike the other match types, weapons are randomly selected, and with each squid only able to carry 1 egg at a time, teamwork spontaneously takes shape as the group adapts to their roles. Salmon Run's mammoth ink-spewing enemies are cleverly designed to force cooperation, as their weak points are often tucked away, requiring a player to distract while the others attack. Salmon Run is a true highlight of Splatoon 2. Pushing back the dangerous monsters, heading towards danger to recover eggs, and rescuing teammates is a hectic thrill. And it's one that I wish I could have spent more time with. But unfortunately, the truly bizarre and unwelcome timing structure prevented me from playing further. Splatoon 2's options are in a constant rotation, with Turf War swapping out levels every couple of hours, while ranked and league battles switch modes. Feel like playing Rainmaker? Well, you might have to wait 4 hours. Salmon Run is the greatest casualty, locking out players for days at a time. Yes, really, days. There's a certain charm to Turf War's 2-stage rotation, allowing newcomers to learn the ins and outs of each location. The ranked battle schedule comes off less favorably, but each are so similar in gameplay structure, it's forgivable. However, shutting down Salmon Run, a sizable portion of the overall package, not to mention the second best activity in the entire game, isn't a quirky design choice, it's an unacceptable mistake, and one that will hopefully be fixed in a future update. Last and sadly least is the single player, where your hero squid is sent out to battle the evil Octarians to recover the great Zapfish and the missing pop idol Callie. Compared to the multiplayer sections, these environments are enormous and populated by dozens of interactive switches to create temporary platforms and pathways. But beyond the excellent boss fights and unlockable stat boosters, the campaign itself lacks a sense of urgency or achievement, especially when hidden collectibles entice players to take their time. By no means bad, the story mode's leisure pace and similar layout don't warrant its lengthy 7-hour-long playtime. Splatoon's presentation is delightfully cartoonish. Every shopkeeper, squid, and weapon adds to the diverse imagery of Inkopolis. The central city square features a wide collection of player drawings, with some remarkably talented artists producing offbeat memes and loving homages. Though it's a bit strange, this section runs at a much lower frame rate than the rest of the game. Even the less artistically inclined play a role in shaping each stage, which all begin in uniform monotone and slowly transform into clashing neon hues of goopy ink, which are inspired by Splatoon 2's excellent thrashy punk rock soundtrack. A perfect blend between a high school prep rally and a grimy basement show, with enthusiastically performed vocal gibberish and colliding instruments. But most importantly, the music fits the rhythm of competition, driving players towards the next objective in a hurried tempo. Once again, the single-player tracks aren't as memorable, mostly sitting in the background and drawing little attention. But the vast majority of the soundtrack is so good, you'll want to check out the rhythm action minigame just to hear them again. So, is it worth it? Yes. Splatoon 2 isn't without its faults. Forcing players to wait days on end for the excellent Salmon Run is a ridiculous and pointless restriction. While the ranked battle and single-player modes are entertaining, but never quite capitalize on the core system's strengths. However, Splatoon 2 is a strong recommendation solely based off the frenzied fun of Turf War, with nail-biting endings that effortlessly transform strangers into teammates. It's this smart design that makes Splatoon 2 Sunshine Warfare pure bliss. Splatoon 2 is currently available on the Nintendo Switch for $60. If you've had a chance to play it, let me know what you thought. And if you haven't, let me know if you plan on picking it up. My name is Colin Tanner, and I'll see you in the next video.